Welcome back to Chapter Chat by the TV Cave, everyone. I'm Stephanie, and I'm here with my buddy.
Jazz?
And thank you for joining us. So, Jazz, can you believe we're already 3 episodes in? This is crazy.
I know. Time is going so fast. I can't even believe that we're already uh halfway through the year. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know where the last 6 months have gone, but they have been a great reading months for me, actually. This last June, I read a bunch of arcs. I had a great one by Cynthia A. Rodriguez called Love Fool. It's got dark themes. It's got a Mexican male lead with a Puerto Rican female lead. Lots of drama, lots of unaliving, some illegal stuff going on, but it was definitely a great read from start to finish. Probably my favorite one of last month. What about you, Jazz? Anything interesting you read last month?
Yeah, June has been pretty hectic for me with work and studies, but I did start reading a few things. I started reading Cinderella is Dead and The Wrath of the Dawn, which The Wrath of the Dawn started out as something that I picked up on Webtoon. And Webtoon has they installed this whole new feature where you have to use coins to unlock chapters. And I just kind of got tired of going through that whole process. So I went and I got the actual book. Um, and it deals with the 18-year-old Khalid, who is the Caliph of Khorasan. He takes a new bride each night only to have her executed at sunrise.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, it's suspicious, when there is a 16-year-old Shahrazad, better known as Shazi. She volunteers to marry him, but she has a plan. She wants to exact revenge for her best friend, who was also his bride, who died at sunrise. But there's a lot going on with this book, a lot of things that we don't know. There's a lot of mystery, but her plan is pretty clever how she plans to stay alive. She starts with telling him a story and he gets hooked on his story and she doesn't give him all the details at once, so she figures out how to stay alive each night. And I don't want to give too much of it away, but it is a really good story. I really love it.
Awesome. Awesome. That actually sounds really interesting. Um, yeah, this month right now, I am currently reading book number 2 of the Essence and Runes series by Taylor Lynn. It's called Serpents and Secrets. It just came out on the 30th of June. It's a Black romantasy series featuring a queer heroine. And kind of right now, in book 2, we're in this like love triangle, who's she gonna go with kind of situation right now. Lots of mysticism, lots of ancient powers being discussed. Taylor Lynn does a great job of world building, lots of mysticism, lots of mythology going on here. Actually really really loving the series. I actually beta read this one, so now I'm just getting to see what changes she made. And I mean, chef's kiss so far. I'm loving it. And I can't wait to wrap this up and see. Obviously, next year the next book will come out, and I'm already chomping at the bit for that one. But Taylor Lynn is definitely someone that I'm super hooked on her books right now. So if you get a chance to read it, Essence and Runes, this series is just great. So far, she's got 2 books out, but definitely enjoyable. Can't wait to finish this one and see what she comes up with next.
Sounds good.
Um, So, our first topic of the month, Jazz. You want to tell us what Pride Month uh, Rex you have?
Yeah, so Cinderella is Dead is one of them. This author that I found, sometimes when I find an author, I just have to read everything by that
Mm-hmm.
person. So yeah, I Cinderella is Dead is about Sophie. She's a 16-year-old. She would rather marry her best friend, and it takes place 200 years after Cinderella's death. And it's all of the young women, it reminds me a little of Handmaid's Tale. All of the young women must attend an annual ball where they're chosen by men as wives. And, given that she would rather marry her best friend, she doesn't want to take part of this ball. So she escapes the ball and she hides in Cinderella's mausoleum where she meets someone named Constance, who is a descendant of Cinderella and her stepsisters. So they go on this journey together to uncover the truth behind Cinderella's story, and they work to overthrow the oppressive patriarchal monarchy. So that is like, once I read the description of that, I was totally and completely in, because I do love when people do the remixes of classic fairy tales and classic
Mhm.
stories altogether. And that goes into my next recommendation by the same author. Um, and that author is, excuse me, is Kaylin Bayron. I'm thinking I'm saying that correctly. But this next one is My Dear Henry. It's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde remix. So that's something, it's like, it's a dark, well, that's a dark story anyway, but it seems to be a little bit darker. And it's something that I really want to dig into. So definitely going to read and complete that one as well in conjunction with Cinderella's Dead. So those are my recommendations for Pride Month.
Awesome. They both sound amazing. I am just starting to get into classic retellings. So that those both sound really, really awesome. I'm gonna have to add those to my TBR. Thank you. So my Pride Month recommendations. Sorry, the first one I have is by Alison Cotron. It's called "Kiss Her Once for Me." It's a sapphic holiday story about Ellie, who has this amazing holiday meet cute at a bookstore on Christmas Eve. She spends a great Christmas Eve with this beautiful person that they have a great time. It's just one of those magical days that you will always remember for your life, for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, ends on a sour note. They split ways without exchanging contact information. And the following year, or throughout the following year, Ellie's life kind of makes a downward spiral, and things are happening out of her control. She's going to lose her job, and she ends up making an agreement to fake be fake engaged to her boss so that he can get his inheritance. In order to get his inheritance, he has to be married. It's this whole fake arrangement. Turns out the love of her life that she met the year before is his sister. And now she's spending the holiday pretending to be with him, but really pining over his sister. And it seems like there's a little bit of pining on his end with another of their friend group. So it was just a great book. I really enjoyed it. It's a Christmas holiday book, but it's got a lot of queer rep. It's got some great, funny, sassy moments, lots of banter, which I always love. And then right now, also Emily Raff's Pucking Strong, which is book 4 in the Jacksonville Rays series, is coming out soon, and that is an romance between a hockey player and his physical therapist. And it's also like a marriage of convenience situation there. So I'm really excited to read that when that comes out soon. But those are my 2 Pride Month recs: a sapphic romance and an romance coming up.
Sounds good.
Now, also, June was Caribbean Heritage Month. June was a great month, by the way. June was also Caribbean Heritage Month, Jazz. So I have been on this kick where I'm trying to find as many BIPOC authors as I can. I've thankfully run across a bunch of Caribbean authors. One specifically is Jada West, who is a Haitian author. Most recently, I got a chance to read her book, Before Dawn, which features a Dominican male and a Black female character. Insta love on his part. He's a billionaire. There's some dark themes, but he is all about girl. He loves her toenails to the follicles in her head. It is so cute. He is so in love with her and such a green flag. It was a great book. And Jada West is adorable. If you get to see her on social media, she's so cute. And I love watching her do her thing out there in Haiti and write these characters that are so great and gripping and going through trauma and real, um, really fleshed out characters. So Jada West is definitely somebody that people should keep an eye out for if they're looking to celebrate some Caribbean.
I'll definitely look out for that.
What about you, Jazz? Anybody that came to mind that you would like to shout out there?
Yeah, this one's a bit of a cheat because I actually watched the series before getting the book, and that's Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. It was a really really good book. Eleanor Bennett, she she dies and she leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her children, her two children, uh, Byron and Benny. So it's a tale of secrets, identities that are interwoven together. All the stories that, the brother and sister, their stories are interwoven together, along with their mother, who they find after her death isn't who they thought she was. And there's a lot of reason behind her secrets. And, they come to know that they actually have a sister. Um, that they never knew about because it was part of their mother's past life. It's a really good family drama. I suggest the series. Unfortunately, it only had one season, but the book is going to give you more detail even than the series. But the series was also excellently done. So heavily recommend that. And then the second one that I like to recommend is Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Benn. And this could also be a Pride Month recommendation as well. It goes through the life of a Jamaican woman, Margot, who has to hustle, in Montego Bay. She has to hustle to send her younger sister to school, and part of her hustle includes her sexuality. And, she has to do what she has to do to survive. And as she's doing this, as she's living her life and trying to find her own financial independence, she has to, come out. She has forbidden love for another woman. And how sometimes your sexuality, especially in different cultures, can be a difficult thing to come to grips with, as well as to be able to tell other people. So this is one of those things that is a heavy theme in the book.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I always I always appreciate a book that will not just gloss over a character's coming out story. It's not necessary for me, obviously. I love characters that are already, there and they know who they are. But I do love a good coming out story, especially when it involves characters of the Black and Brown community, because, we see it all the time where it's just difficult
Mhm.
to come out sometimes still in our community, even in this day and age. So I really definitely love books that touch upon that and the difficulty of doing that and making that decision, because it's not always easy to come out. That's why we celebrate Pride. That's why we keep allyship up and reminding people that we're here for them, because not everybody has that comfort and that a bit availability to just come out to their family. So get seeing more stories like that where we get to actually see what that struggle is like for some people. I think is great because it's definitely something that should be discussed more. Um,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I especially like when it's done with care, because like you said, not everyone decides to come out. And sometimes, some people don't even like the term coming out. I've heard someone use inviting in because technically it's nobody's business, right? So
mhm.
if I invite you into my space, that's what I'm doing. I'm not coming out. I'm inviting you into my life. I'm inviting you into my space and therefore sharing that with you. So yeah, I do love when it's done well.
Yes. Oh, I love that terminology too. I think I'm going to use that from now on. It's no longer coming out. It is being invited into someone's life. I love that. Um, it has been a crazy couple of months, Jazz. I mean, like you said earlier, we're 6 months in, which I think is completely crazy. Um, any books that you read this month that I mean this these past 6 months that you think that have still stuck with you that are
No, I think just I haven't had a chance to get much done. But I will say that the things that did stick with me was Kaylin's stories, Cinderella is dead. That definitely caught my eye and, something that I really, really enjoyed. The Housemaid, that was another one that I really enjoyed. That's a series that I picked up and plan to continue. I also read again The Children of Blood and Bone. I read the whole series, and that was good. So those were a few of the things that kind of stuck with me throughout this first half.
nice. Yeah, I have been so slacking on my audio listens, and Children of Blood and Bone is one of them. That I have to just listen to that. I just don't know why I can't. Um, I've been heavy with the arcs this year. I'm somewhere like I've read like 30 something books. I think 20 of them have been arcs at this point, which is crazy and definitely an increase from the past 2 years for me. But I will say I've had some really great reads. One of them being Spring Awakening by J.S. Jasper. It's a black rugby romance based in the UK, workplace romance. They're roommates. It's full of banter and giddiness and definitely had me kicking my feet. I read that earlier this year and I'm still thinking about that book. Actually, in August, the second book of the series comes out, which is a sapphic romance between the head coach, Frankie, and a single mom. So I'm
Mm.
super excited for that. I've already pre-ordered that book and I signed up to be an ARC reviewer. So fingers crossed because I really don't want to wait till the end of August to read that book or September when the book actually reaches me from the UK. So I really hope I get that book. But that one and I did discuss Full Love by Cynthia A. Rodriguez. Again, that was my favorite for June. But I do also want to mention Shadowed Obsession by Evelyn Lee, which is actually in the same world as Love Fool. So you see the main male character from Love Fool does make an appearance in Shadowed Obsession. And I always love when there's like an interworld, but with different authors so that you get a piece of different characters written differently, slightly differently, but no less amazing. But Shadowed Obsession, you guys, you got to check out my review because that main character, Cesar, I can't tell if he is a red flag with green tendencies or if he's a green flag with red tendencies.
Mm.
Very confused, but I love him nonetheless. He was amazing. But those have been some pretty great reads that I've had, and I just want to mention one more. There's a series by Amy Award, the Cocky Kingsman series. It's a family of football players. Every book is a different family member. It's a bunch of basically just a bunch of well-raised men loving up on plus size women, but just recently, on the 17th of June, she did release her recent installation to that series called The Jackass in Class, which I wanted to mention because it is the first book in the series where she has a non-white main character. This character, her name is Tempest. She's Latina, plus size Latina, romance writer. And I really wanted to just put it out there and mention it because some authors, especially white authors, do get a lot of flack for writing characters outside of their religion or race. And I think Amy Award did a great job making sure that her character was true to Latina roots without being stereotypical in a negative way. And what I really loved was in her acknowledgments, she talks about the struggle of whether or not she should be writing outside of her race and ultimately how she came to the decision that to have a series of just white people is not realistic because that's not her life. Her life isn't just other white people. And so I read the acknowledgments, which I normally don't, and really just made me appreciate Amy Award more just for even that acknowledgement of what she was struggling to accomplish. And then at the end of that, she shouts out six Latina romance authors, all of which who I absolutely love. So I definitely appreciated that she even, mentioned the fact that, like, hey, listen, I wrote this plus size Latina. I hope you guys liked her, but these are the Latina authors you guys should also be checking out. And I really appreciated her for that. I actually, after I read that at 1 o'clock in the morning, I sent her a DM on IG to thank her for that, because I just thought that that was awesome. But
It's
those,
awesome. That is awesome. I'm glad that she did that because I'm always sketchy when someone like I'm always not sketchy but kind of apprehensive and not sure when there's a white author writing black characters or
mhm.
POC characters just because of experience with how they've been written in the past. So I'm glad that you said that she did do a good job at it and to also acknowledge that as well. So I'll be checking her out.
Yeah, she definitely. I was pleasantly surprised, and I mean the book was great too. A little bit of spice, lots of banter, all the things that I personally look for in a good romance novel. But yeah, those are I've lucked out with some really great characters and great books these past couple of months, and I'm hoping the next 6 months are just gonna get better from there.
And then you said well-raised men. I was like, okay, yes.
Yes. Oh my God. So yeah, they're raised by their dad, a single father with 8 kids. 7 of them are boys, and he is just. I mean, he's such a zaddy. Like he's just the father could get it. You know,
Right,
it's one
right.
of those things, like he's such a green flag that it's just like I even love the dad. But yeah, her series is pretty good. So if you do get a chance to check it out, I definitely highly suggest it. But yeah, so those are my recs for this month so far. Um, Chaz, how are we on time?
We're coming at the end here, so it's about time to wrap this up. It was a pleasure as always. Just wrapping up, I've been balancing work and creativity, but for my future plans for the rest of the year, hopefully, fingers crossed, I would like to read more overall, and I'd like to self-publish something. I've been working on that for a while. I have some things written. I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and flesh it out. So I would love to do that, and I'm still covering Beyond the Gates for the TV Cave. So look out for that, and look out for Dexter Resurrection coming up. Those reviews and recaps and other TV Cave articles.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just still working on those reviews. Like I said, I've been inundated with arcs, so I'm a little bit behind, but I think I'm catching up for the most part on my reviews, which you guys can always check out on the chapter chat page at the TV Cave. I'm really, really excited. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but our friend Ladarian Williams, who we spoke to earlier this year with the last year actually, um, is actually coming out with his second book, Bones at the Crossroads. It comes out at the end of this month, July 29th. So I am super, super excited for that. I've already pre ordered the audiobook. So I can't wait for that to come through. I will definitely be listening to that one immediately. Um, but I am just hoping to keep up and find some more amazing BIPOC authors. I'm really trying to uncover more Latinx stories, which, as you know, is so hard to find anything that is not, traditional Caucasian character driven. So I'm, still on the on the prowl for that, and I'm still working on getting some things working for the TV Cave and see what we can add, what I can add other than my book reviews to our amazingly growing group of friends here at the TV Cave. Um, so, Jazz, if you don't have any more recommendations, I think I'm just going to say goodbye, guys. Thanks for joining us. And again, don't forget to check out the tvcave.com for all your reviews, TV, movies, and books, of course.
Have a good one.
All
Thanks
right.
all.
Night. Bye.